Howdy, y'all. Let's try and free these stuck tracks. Well, not these stuck tracks, the ones in the shop off Lefty. Let's try and free them today. I have been completely amazed what a controversial topic that freeing stuck track chains is. And believe me, folks, before we even posted a video on this, we've tried to think of about everything. I've soaked them in penetrating oil. We've put the chains on them with a press and pressed them loose and binders. We tried running them. You saw how that ended up, but we're going to try that again today. We even tried making a press, which if we end up going that route, and we're hoping today will prove that we don't need to, we are going to have to go back to the engineering drawing board. For sure. I completely understand the reaction to soaking them in water. Believe me, that was not Dad and my first choice, but so many old school operators, including my own grandfather, said that they use that trick on stuck track chains. But I don't know that they were stuck as bad as these ones. It may have just sat for a winter or a few months in some wet soil. These have been sitting for a while. So, you know what? We had nothing to lose, and just think of it as Mythbuster for Caterpillar. You might recall that we pressed that pin out just a little bit. Honestly, it'd be fine to go ahead and run it. It didn't move that much. Before we start, we're going to push it back to where it was a little bit, and we're going to put the pads back on all these track chains. And no, I'm not going to make you guys watch all of that. You guys have seen it. By the powers of Benjamin Holt and CL Best, that's done. Let's go get the skid steer and get them outside and put them on that old bucking Bronco out there. Alright, do we want this one on the right side? Yep. Alright. Yeah, I see that. A lot of folks have asked why we didn't just run these tracks when they were already on Lefty. Well, the answer is simple. That engine's not broke in enough to our liking. We'd like to put it under a consistent pull and break it in. We don't know how these tracks are going to act. And then number two, we don't want to damage anything on Lefty. Not that this tractor's expendable, but it's a lot more expendable than Lefty. Before we saddle up that bucking Bronco with those new tracks, we're going to give everything a shot of grease and check all the fluids. Are you getting any grease in it? Some. Yeah, these front ones are probably the best ones on here. These back ones are pretty. They're not bad. We got to build another bracket like this to hold the seat where it is on that D4 on the other side. Well, we got the saddle cinched down. You think we can ride this for more than 8 seconds?
Well, I'm just hoping it don't take 8 hours. Taking oil.
Good.
It's going somewhere.
I pulled the plug on the transmission check here, and we got nothing in there. I stuck my finger in there, but down about an inch, and I didn't hit any oil. The final drives are both full. I checked those, and we're going to put a little bit in the transmission here. By the way, this tool that a viewer sent me, this thing is awesome to have around. All the fluids are where they're supposed to be. The coolant's good. Everything's greased. I got 6 gallons of diesel in there. Things are about to get western. Far enough ahead.
Yes, yes. Let it down on that front island. Here.
It's wanting to roll back. This is crazy.
I know
it. I mean, we're almost there. We had a lot of nicknames for these tracks, but none that we can share here. We're gonna get some boomers out and boom the tracks together, and my boomer dad's gonna help me do it.
Blinders.
The difference between probably proper vernacular and farmer slang. What do farmers call these, Dad?
Farmer calls it a clevis.
That's a clevis. That's what Grandpa always called them. But this is a shackle, and a binder is a boomer. So, we call it farmer slang. We use a lot of slang around here. We're getting close up there. I backed this off a little more, and I noticed that there's a grease zerk on here. You can see here I've moved it back about 1.5 inches here from where it was. Yeah, I think we're there now. Boy, I can't tell you folks what a pain this has been for the last 1.5 hours. We got it. I'm going to tighten everything back up and put some tension on these tracks. I think the other side will go on pretty quick. This was our really sticky one. And I'm noticing that I'm going to have to be very careful when I operate this because, boy, these are going to get really close to where your feet are. Got the other side done. I'm not sure why everything has to go so hard for us lately, but these monsters are on here. We're going to have to do more adjusting if and when these break in, but we're going to hard hitch the skid steer to the back of this thing, and I'm going to see if I can push it around. Before I hop up in there, I'm going to take a little safety precaution. The last thing I want is for my bib overalls to get caught on one of these grousers and pull me into this mess. Besides, with my pants tucked into my boots, now I look like an official goat rope and podunk.
Third. Okay. All right, you ready?
I'm ready. That skid steer's just not going to do it. We're going to get the backhoe out. You. We're trying to reevaluate how to hitch this so that we can pull it, because pushing it with the backhoe, when it gets a little close to the fuel tank and everything. I'm ready. Ah!
You had it on start. You had no compression.
It was at this moment that he knew.
It won't start if it has no compression. Now I know.
And knowing is half the battle.
We've had a little time in the forbidden fifth gear, and is it starting to break them loose, you think?
It's got a certain spot. That's a bad spot right there.
Yeah, we got a few spots that aren't moving.
It's okay.
Master links are still in, they're still good. I think we're gonna continue to run it round. I'm gonna take it in, we'll put some fuel in it. Just see where this ends. Hopefully we can break this Bronco. We're going to go ahead and tighten these up another, I don't know, a few threads. I'll run it around some more, I'll tighten it up, I'll run it around. Got nothing but the evening ahead of me of running a D4. Yeah, maybe I'll run to town and get supper. Going around the curve, but they're not coming back like Dad just said. Off into the sunset backwards. It's 0 dark 30, and I think this is working. So we're gonna park it for the night. Tomorrow I'm gonna tension everything up again. We're gonna pull start it and run it again, and we're just gonna keep doing that because now I can only see 2 or 3 of them that are still a little bit of a problem, but the more we ran it, this lower and lower and lower these tracks got down onto the carriers. It's therapy to pull the drag around the driveway, but Dad, that's what he does. Soon the tracks will be ready, Your Majesty. They're all turning now around, but there's some of them that aren't returning back to flat, to level. So I think what we're gonna do is another round of tensioning, and we're gonna continue running it. Dad's over here, we're gonna check the oil bath air cleaner, clean it up. And I wasn't kidding. This thing is like, especially at first, it was like riding a bucking Bronco. This thing was bouncing me all over the place. So I'm pretty sore this morning. In fact, we're both pretty sore this morning. Yesterday kind of kicked our butts, didn't it?
We put in about a 12-hour day yesterday.
We did. And
fighting these tracks.
You know what? We've gotten this down to a point that if these tracks were loose, changing D4 tracks, we could do it in about an hour.
30 minutes aside, we're done.
But these just fight us. They're too hard to get them to line up. So we'll get some tension on these and get it back on the road, just like old times.
Yeah, just like old times.
You better believe these ones that are still showing issues, they're getting a squirt of penetrating oil too. We've got it hitched up. We've done what we wanted to this morning. I fixed the radiator cap. Dad cleaned the pre-cleaner, got fresh oil in it. We want to push it a little bit and see if it moves, see what the dynamics are. We'll see if the skid steer will push it, because last time when we tried the skid steer, it wouldn't budge. Dad's putting more penetrating oil in there. You can see the rust coming out of it. Dad's putting a little more penetrating oil on there, and this thing's moving. The skid steer's having no trouble. What's cleaning, cleaner?
Bottom roller grease zerks, because I see they've probably been greased maybe 15, 20 years ago.
We're gonna put a few shots of grease in those rollers, and then I'm gonna hop back in the saddle and give it another go. This ain't my first rodeo. See what I did there? And this tractor's called Buster. It's a good horse name. Plus it's busting these tracks loose. So we're gonna just take the hydraulic pump and press them down fast, see if we can get them to move. We keep spraying penetrating oil and everything, and we'll run it. We'll bust it. Right, Buster? I reckon so, yes indeed. You know what? We need a solid piece of steel on the top.
Yes, yes. Let me go get
Actually,
one.
look.
There it goes. See? Yes, sir, baby.
It's not really building any pressure.
Good.
All right, let's mount up and move out.
All right. Come on back. A little bit. Hold it, hold it. You went too far. Let it roll ahead. Hold it. There.
Today, Buster's a sod buster. Dad's putting a few shots of grease in the old 9-foot one-way, and this is what we suspect they were pulling with Lil Lefty, is why they were always turning left. So you always turn left with a one-way, unlike what I was doing. To irritate Dad.
They don't turn right very well.
No, they don't turn right very well, but I was digging out a ditch. I miss digging ditches. This is a International Harvester one-way disc, and it gives that D4 a little bit of a pull in third gear.
It'll pull it in third gear. If you're on level ground, you got it set up level, and you're going about 5 inches, 6 inches, it'll pull it. Unless you're up a steep hill or something.
Yeah, I was kind of balling it up. I'm more interested in just pulling it to break these tracks loose right now. That's our proving grounds over there. The rope I was holding while I was running this, you tug on that and it cams this over, and that it actually releases a dog here that drops this disc into the ground, and then when you tug on it again, it'll cam it over and pull it up out of the ground. do want to thank you for watching. I think these are broke loose, and we'll see you on the next one. This bucking Bronco is the pain train. I think Dad likes the pain train.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's going to be very fitting, I think.
Yeah. Let's get our seat bracketed up, fold these up, put the master pin in,
and ride the pain train.
Yep.
Need a little burr under the saddle.
Yeah, we got everything greased pretty well, I think.
All right, let's ride.
All right, if you want to ride that seat, but I ain't sitting in that thing.
Well.
Got it on start.
Yep.
Run.